Hello again, everybody. I've discovered another Marriott Edgar monologue, and I must say, in my opinion, it's one of the funniest ones I've found yet. It's all about Jonah and the whale, and it's called Jonah and the Grampus. I'll tell thee the story of Jonah, a really remarkable tale. A peaceful and humdrum existence he had until one day he went for a sail. The weather were grand when they started, but later, at turn of the tide, the wind started blowing, the water got rough, and Jonah felt funny inside. When the ship started pitching and tossing, he tried hard his feelings to smother. At last he just leant his head o'er the side, and one thing just brought up another. When the sailors saw what he were doing, it gave them a bit of a jar. They didn't mind trippers enjoying themselves, but thought this here was going too far. Said one, "Is there nowt you can think on to stop thee from feeling so bad?" And Jonah said, "Aye, lift me over the side and chuck me in, there's a good lad." Well, the sailor were not one to argue. He said, "Happen as how you know best." And he picked Jonah up by the seat of his pants and chucked him in, as per request. A Grampus came up at that moment, and seeing the old man hard set, it swam to his side and it opened his mouth and said, "Come on in, lad, out of the wet." Its manner were kindly and pleading, as if to say RSVP. Said Jonah, "I've eaten a kipper or two, but I never thought one would eat me." The inside of the Grampus surprised him. 'Twere the first time he'd been behind scenes. He found accommodation quite ample for one, but it smelt like a tin of sardines. Then over the sea they went cruising, and Jonah were filled with delight. With his eye to the blowhole in Grampus's head, he watched ships as they passed in the night. "I'm tired of watching," said Jonah. "I'll rest for a minute or two." "I'm afraid you won't find your bed very soft," said the Grampus. "I've got an hard row." At that moment up came a whaleboat. Said Jonah, "What's this here we've struck?" "They're after me blubber," the Grampus replied. "You'd better hold tight while I duck." Now the water came in through the spy-hole and hit Jonah's face, a real slosher. He said, "Shut your blowhole," and Grampus replied, "I can't, lad, it needs a new washer." Jonah tried hard to bail out the water, but found all his efforts in vain. For as fast as he emptied the slops out through gills, they came in through blowhole again. When it finished they came to the surface, Jonah took a look out, and he saw they were stuck on a bit of a sandbank that lay one rod, pole, or perch from the shore. Said the Grampus, "We're in shallow water. I've brought you as far as I may. If you sit on the blowhole on top of me head, I'll spout thee the rest of the way." So Jonah obeyed these instructions, and the Grampus his lungs did expand, then blew out a fountain that lifted Joe up and carried him safely to land. There were tears in their eyes when they parted, and each blew a kiss, a real big un. Then the Grampus went off with a swish of his tail, and Jonah walked back home to Wigan.